Alright. So we've got one small package here with 3 things in it. Why don't we just go through these? We've got Aquarion logos here. Here we go. Part 2. Episodes 14 through 26. This is Region A. I guess this means it's only Japanese with English subtitles? No, there's an English dub there. Does that mean the DVDs are sub only? Huh. Oh well. We got a guy there, another guy there. Don't know much about the content of this series. We've got a DVD. Part 2. I'm trying to see if I can read disc 2, DVD 2. Part 2. 16 to 22. The Blu-ray's blue. The Blu-ray's blue. It's kind of really hard to read that text which says what the disc number is, though. Oh well. Then we've got Beautiful Bones, Sakurako's Investigation. This one is subtitle only. Region A only. Here we go. It's one of these, kind of sealed. But the plastic's very fragile today, so... There we go. I guess I'll leave that open while I open the disc. Is this a complete collection? That says complete collection right there. It's kind of hard to see the very dark red against black. This plastic is getting a little stubborn. Okay, now it's being really stubborn. Come on. So on the inside, we have the same disc art for discs 1 and 1. It looks like disc 2 is unique in the DVD version. Its artwork is, at least. And then disc 3 is the same. Let's see, that's that. And I wanted to take a quick look at the back again. All 12 episodes, 2 discs. Okay. I also finally got this, which, as far as I could tell, appears to be legit. It's used. You can see there. It's used. But this is the Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15 box, apparently. And over here we have what appears to be the disc, and then the important reason for getting this, even though I already got it on DVD and Blu-ray, which is the Brotherhood Final Fantasy. I guess part of me thinks I've never taken this out. I should at least take it out and see. It's a Blu-ray. It looks and feels like a Blu-ray. It looks like a pressed. So it doesn't look counterfeit or anything like that. Huh. This isn't everything, although that's the major anime stuff. So from the Hentai last week, I got Cambrian Volume 1, which completes those. I also got Darcrows Volume 2, which combined with Volume 1, you know, completes those. Let's probably those. And then I think I had mentioned a couple of replacement DVDs I needed to get, so you know, I got my replacement of Dark Shell, and I got another one of these, but it's blank again, like the first one. So that's apparently something to look out for. And speaking of things to look out for, I did get a Boeing Lecture Well, technically, it said it was Boing Lecture 1 plus Lecture 2, and I'm like, oh, I'll try to get it. But as you can see, since it has the official Japanime artwork on both sides, you can pretty much guess that it's bootleg. I mean, the inside, you know, whatever. Maybe that is. Sometimes hentai companies are cheap, and okay, it's burned, but the real giveaway that this is, or the real definitive proof that it's bootleg is it's region free, which I think I don't remember if I checked if Boing Volume 1 was or not, but oh well, I've got a plan on a couple places to go to, because Lecture 2 seems to be kind of trickier to find. Oh well, this week's anime DVD collection update. Well, I'm not sure if I watched much. This is the only thing I have set up to watch, so I'm trying to think, what did I spend all of my time doing if this wasn't the only thing? And I know a couple other things have filled my time, but for some reason only one series doesn't feel right, which makes me think I watched something and put the DVD or Blu-ray somewhere, or I watched it in a way that isn't like a Blu-ray and a Blu-ray drive. But oh well, let's see. This is the main thing I've watched this week, which is a rewatch. It's been a long time since I watched it, and I have to say that it was actually a pretty nice rewatch. It is passable, I think. Some of it feels a little off, but I thought it was passable. You know, it didn't wow me, but it was really the content of the series that was more interesting. It's very strange. I mean, it is a cute girls doing cute things, slice of life, kind of Moe Blobby. Maybe it's Moe Blob. I don't know. It predates K-On! By a while, I think, but yeah. There must have been something I was watching, because I kind of seem to vaguely remember Mouse being a little bit more on screen. But I guess I can't remember what. There's other non-anime stuff I watched, which I'll talk about. But for the content of this, what kind of made it work, I thought, it kind of felt like you could often feel the gears turning inside the character's head. Like, they're less tropish and more just actual characters. I'm not going to necessarily say they're all likable. I really kind of don't like the older sister, mostly just because she smokes a lot and, like an addict, goes to her sister for money, I guess. They play it off really funnily, but at the same time, it kind of makes it hard to respect her as a character. So I don't really hate her or anything. I just, I don't like the mindset. I don't understand the mindset. It tends to turn me off from a lot of anime characters. Or actually not a lot, because not a lot do it. It's just enough. The ones who do it that I think a lot of other people tend to like, I just don't, because I don't like the thought. Oh, well, I'm going a bit on. Character-wise, or series-wise, I don't know. It's like, these characters do stuff, you see them thinking, it's kind of amusing and entertaining to watch them, and then it has these little, I wouldn't say subtle, but kind of lighter humor that, you know, they don't force it really hard. I think my favorite running joke in here, which the series really handled it well across the whole, well, I mean, they didn't use it across the whole series, but they used it in a couple of places, and it spans the breadth of the entire show, and the way they used it, breadth-wise, I think was fun. Where basically, the teacher, for some reason, he had something against this one student, so he kept sending that student out to the hallway for silly reasons. Something that, in real life, would be inexcusable in a teacher, you know, just singling out a student like that, but knowing this is a show and kind of the way they did it, it was just amusing, where you didn't expect it to come from where it did. And the show does a jump cut so that you have a good idea of what the consequences of things that happened were, but you don't see it actually happening. So, like, for this kid in particular, when he would tell him to stand out in the hallway for some stupid reason, which could often be completely contradictory to things he had said earlier, the kid's like, what? And then it cuts and the desk is empty, so you kind of know the student is out in the hallway. And there's a lot of humor in this show like that. Miyu's probably the one who exemplifies it the most, and she may be the main draw to this show for a lot of people because she's a troll. Now, if she really existed, I would be concerned that she lives in an abusive household of some sort. Maybe it's not abusive, but at the same time, she seems like she's one of those problem childs that, or she seems like one of those problem childs who thinks the only way they can get attention, or the only way they know to get attention, is to kind of act out. And Mew's constantly trolling, which can be both the fun thing, but is also this concerning aspect. So it's kind of weird that the show has these things, but it kind of handles all of them very well. I mean, like, even with the big sister smoking, like I said, her taking little sister's money, or trying to get the little sister's money, it's handled in a way where you don't feel like the purpose of the show is to watch the sister abusing her sister or something like that, but it's kind of there, and it's trying to, I don't know, the humor is really weird. And then of course there's the other weird thing, which I think was something people commented about a long time ago, where if you watch it, you kind of got to be careful who you watch it around, because people might get the wrong idea about you. And yeah, it didn't exactly do anything outrageous. Like, I think the Chipmunk movie might have been more outrageous in terms of portraying little girls and sexually something or the other. But this one kind of sometimes chooses not exactly wrong angles, but strange angles, strange things to animate. Nothing that's like obviously what's that word I'm trying to think of? Exploitative. You know, I mean, it's kind of hard to say it'd be exploitative if there are animated characters that don't really exist, but, you know, along those lines, you know, it doesn't really feel like it's anything like that, but at the same time, it's strange where it goes sometimes. I don't know. It's an anime with a lot of strange little things. And overall, it's been enjoyable. It's hard to say how much of that is because I've been playing Pokemon while watching it, though. Obviously, my Pokemon playing hasn't died down if my DS is now decorated. But, yeah. Oh, maybe it was one of those things. In fact, I probably have a couple DVDs I didn't show earlier, so I'll just show them right here real fast. So, this has to do with Pokemon Diamond Pearl Steelbook Blu-ray collection. It was a Best Buy only thing that didn't show up on all the sites I normally shop at, because, you know, it was a Best Buy thing, but so it kind of escaped my radar. Somebody spotted it, so I went to a couple Best Buys, and I guess I'm doing the DVD update a little weird this time, because we got Poltergeist 2 and 3. You know, the first one is a classic one. 2 and 3, they're kind of interesting to have. I vaguely remember some of 2 and remember it being okay, but that was a long time ago. And 3 was kind of disturbing for a couple different reasons, but one of them, which is interesting, is I think the main actress died before they finished filming, and I didn't know that when I watched it at the time, so I have to rewatch it to see if there's anything that I consider a little off because of that. Other than that, so many mirrors. But, you know, I kind of want it because it sounds like there's a couple things I want to revisit. I got the Good Dinosaur on DVD. I've been putting it off because apparently it hasn't been scoring as well. But the idea here was I was hitting a couple Best Buys. I went to my nearby one, then I went to one a couple towns over. And if I was going to do that on a work night, I decided I should justify it by, you know, buying something there. And because I was exhausting myself, I decided to go ahead and get something that I didn't have to think too much about. In fact, I think I had seen pretty much all the scenes on YouTube in different places. So this was me seeing the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy in one go or something. And then I got a Hunger Games 4-film complete collection. I think it's complete. It says complete 4-film collection. I don't know. I got it on DVD because I'm not sure what I'll think about it, but it's one of those shows that I've talked about with my friend, or my friend has brought up, and I've thought about it as well, because unlike something like Twilight, which I kind of understand what makes it a bad movie, and so I kind of know why I wouldn't like it, Hunger Games hasn't ever struck me as being one of those. So this is... It strikes me as one of those strong or notable storytelling sagas that I really should have been watching. I've always thought that in the back of my head, but my friend was saying, has been saying that I should get them so that we can watch them as well. You know, because he knows I collect DVDs in general. So, those were some non-anime DVDs, which I completely had forgotten that were right there in order to be shown here, unless I showed them last week, which I don't think I did. So, you know, you might notice that there was no Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Blu-ray set. That's in the mail right now. I was keeping an eye because apparently now it's a month later, the Best Buy stores don't have it, even though their websites think the stores do. And I spent hours and hours and hours trying to find it, so if it's not there, it's not there. So I was watching Amazon and Right Stuff, and Right Stuff got it in stock, so I just ordered it from there. And like I said, it's shipped, and it'll probably be here next day or two. I haven't checked the shipping too carefully. I just know it didn't get delivered today because it shipped yesterday, and anything that ships from Right Stuff isn't going to get here that fast, but it might be here again tomorrow, maybe the day after, so which means it should be here in time for next week's release, unless it's a counterfeit. But then I might show it today like I did the counterfeit Boing DVD. So, okay, I did watch the Family Guy Star Wars Trilogy, and it's amusing. If you've never seen it before, I don't know. I guess if you like Star Wars and you enjoy Family Guy, you might find it funny. If you're not a Family Guy person, I don't suggest watching it, especially if you've never seen Family Guy, because it seems to have a lot of Family Guy in references. It's not a bad thing per se, but it is it makes it a little weaker to try to be able to show it, I guess. What I was talking about stuff. Oh, I did watch a little bit more of A Vision of Escaflowne. This would be the second half of the first part, so I guess I'm 13 episodes in with a friend. And I only remembered like the first half of this stuff, probably because I watched those first few episodes a long time ago. I didn't remember this stuff at all, which kind of makes it good to rewatch, because I guess, you know, it means that my watching it before doesn't quite count, maybe? Because I don't remember how it ends or anything that would actually spoil it, so that means this is a valuable rewatch, and it's been great. It's interesting how, as shoujo go, it is a very violent show. And I don't mean this like, oh yes, the shoujo was violent out there. I mean like, there's a lot of war and death going on, a lot more than you would expect from a romantic show, which is why I don't know why I never remembered any of this. I'm a little concerned, but not too concerned. So we're continuing to make slow progress into that. It's all good. But I guess I don't think that was the everything. There was probably more. There probably was more Deep Space Nine. I probably stopped just before the season 2 two-part finale, because I'm a little concerned because some of the Bajoran religious stuff is more eye-rolling than entertaining to me. And I'm watching Deep Space Nine a little bit more than usual because I am trying to get to certain parts, certain stuff. I don't want to mention too much of it, but that went on hold in order to do all this other stuff, and there were a lot of interruptions and things I'm watching, because the other thing is I watched Stranger Things. Now, of course, it's been a while for me to watch it because I don't have a Netflix account, so it pretty much involved my friend getting a downloaded copy for me, I guess, because I guess Netflix isn't going to sell it on DVD. I really wish they would. I would buy it, even if it was only DVD quality. Blu-ray quality would probably be nicer. It looked like it had some interesting shots, especially of the night sky at the very beginning. content-wise, I actually thought it was really good. I can kind of see why some people could find it to be a little lower. It kind of feels like maybe it could have been condensed down a couple of episodes, possibly, and be really great, maybe. But it wasn't paced badly for its 8-episode run either. The content really interested me because it kind of felt like a mix of SCP and Stephen King. Now, if you're not familiar with SCP, that's short for Secure Control Protocol or something like that, which refers to the SCP Foundation. And the entire idea is, the entire real life idea is that it's a wiki with kind of horror story kind of concepts in them, but it's around the idea of these things need to be controlled or contained because they have just strange paranormal effects that I guess the SCP Foundation just doesn't want people to know about. But SCP is more well known for dangerous objects that are likely to kill people or might even result in the extinction of humanity if control is lost. Maybe even only a theoretical extinction of humanity. Just dangerous things. And, so it's basically pretty much an internet-born horror collection, I guess. Maybe. That's always been my guess and understanding. So I guess Slenderman wouldn't be the first unless he really did come before that. But, it's a cool thing like that. In particular, there's an SCP that is very reminiscent of the Strange Thing from Stranger Things, which is the only way I'm really going to put it. You'll probably know what I mean if you've seen it, and that might interest you in SCP. But the reason it's not exactly that is because it's like there's one specific SCP that's very reminiscent of it, but at the same time, it's kind of told and presented in a way that kind of feels a little Stephen King-ish, not entirely. I mean, first of all, I don't even know if it was taking place in that town in the northeastern United States that he likes to have everything he told in, or something like that. Putting that aside, and putting aside the fact that it doesn't go that deep into humans are the real monster sorts of things that some of Stephen King's works sort of floats on, I guess. I think The Mist is a really good example of this, where, The Mist introduces this really supernatural mist situation that people are in with horrifying creatures that are just... ugh. But it also, in some of the horror involved, also has to do with the way that people kind of evolve in that situation and the evolution of the social dynamic is not a good thing. So that's a very Stephen King thing, I guess. So this, if it was done by Stephen King, then I guess he just didn't do that element very strongly. If it wasn't done by him, I could almost feel like there was some inspirations in there. There were a lot of other inspirations as well. Some of them I don't want to talk about because I think they spoil subtle things, but I don't want to spoil some of those things. But one of the things that I don't think was that spoiler was the character 11 was apparently inspired by Elfenlied, from what I've heard of interviews. And Elfenlied is, of course, relevant to us, y'all, my viewers, whatever, because that's a somewhat well-known horror anime, I would think. And I have to say that some of the inspirations they took from it were, I think, the better ones for what kind of series this was, because Elfenlied has a lot of edginess to it that this show didn't have, and it made this show a lot better. Just because, the show isn't spending its time trying to do cheap things to get to you. It's trying to make you kind of just worried about this situation in general, and I think I can't remember his name, some reviewer of video games who talks a lot, Yahtzee, that's it. You know, he kind of talked about how like Silent Hill's generally considered a really good horror game because it's the kind of game that gives you some sandpaper and lets you sandpaper your own balls off, I guess. I can't remember his exact quote, but you know, it's something that you do to yourself that you wouldn't see somebody do to yourself, but you know, you're playing it and you're so scared, and you're scared because of what you're thinking yourself, what you're doing to yourself. And there's a couple imagery in there that helps. There's some of it that I would call a little off. Nothing that ruined the show. Maybe made it not as perfect as it could have been, but it was great. Oh man, that was also one of those things. I don't know. It was just a great series. I think I spent all of Sunday watching it while doing Pokemon stuff. Alright. Okay, yeah, I'm going all over the place with this, so regarding the Pokemon stuff, I guess things are going pretty well. I don't know if it's notable to keep mentioning all the stuff. I guess I've kind of gotten a hang of what Festival Plaza means, so I'm going ahead and leveling it up, and I think the thing that spurred that goal on was the fact that it's a potential source of ethers, or ethers, I don't know. There's only one E, so ethers. I'm going to call them ethers for now. And you can't just buy ethers in stores, except there are some places where you can. Festival coins, you can spend some festival coins to get some ethers. That's one place. You can get it through pickup, you can get it you know, through a couple of means that aren't just, oh, well, I'm just going to pick up some ethers. And that became an issue because I finished leveling up those Pokemon to level 100. Just a simple team. I don't even know if it has really good synergy at all. It's just, the Pokemon looked kind of fun. And they didn't have too much type overlapping, although there are a couple of type overlaps. So I couldn't find a good substitute for that sort of thing. So I was just like, whatever. And that team's there in case somebody challenges me to Pokemon and we do something like, oh, well, let's not set the level of the Pokemon, let them be whatever their natural levels are. Well, okay, now I have a team of level 100s who are well trained, and if this person just says no to Ultra Beasts, then, you know, I've got the team I need. I have something that I can use. Now, beyond that, there are a lot of great Pokemon to still develop. There's more 7th Gen Pokemon I like. They just kind of have some theming collision with some of the Pokemon I was trying to put together. But there's also some Alolan forms and some returning Pokemon, I guess. So basically, I'm beginning to focus on that. It meant going out and catching Pokemon. And I guess the one that was really tricky is the new Geodude, you know, or the new Golem, you know, the final evolution of Geodude. He had some interesting possibility, but I kind of realized I wanted his hidden ability. And you get hidden abilities by doing SOS chaining. And the deeper you go, up to like 30, then the greater the chance. And then 30 beyond, there's like a 15 or 30% chance that a Pokemon will have the hidden ability. So you need to be able to get kind of deep in there if you don't like checking. And going 30 in is just a safe way to go about it, I guess. And the problem here is that wild Geodudes and Gravelers are all at the right level such that they all know self-destruct. And self-destruct, of course, will break your chain if your only Pokemon there self-destructs, or if you have two of them, they both self-destruct. You know, bad things. So, I had, as part of my leveling up a Pokemon thing, I did level up a utility Parasect with his hidden ability, Damp. Damp prevents a Pokemon from using self-destruct or explosions. So, I can force them to stay in play because they also don't have recoil, and everything's good. Of course, you know, it gets a little tricky once you get deep in there, and then you have to put the Geodude to sleep, switch to a skill swapper to check the skill, and then swap back, and you hope he doesn't explode in any of that time. And my second Geodude, once I got to that phase of the hidden ability, was that. But, you know, in order to do that, I had to deal with the fact that my Parasect was designed to use X Scissor to finish off X's Pokemon, and that only has 15 PP. And so if I'm going to get 30 deep and then go a little bit further, I need to use Ethers, because they only restore 10 PP, so that meant I needed to add a minimum 2 if I was going to go that strategy. And I only had 3, so I was a bit worried about what happens if I need more in the future, and I'm ignoring that for now because right now I've got a lot of Pokemon to breed, and with any luck, leveling up stuff will work. Like, I think I want an Alolan Persian. I've got some funny ideas on what I might do with that. But, you know, when I do that, I should probably also breed a team of pickup Pokemon, because pickup can net me these items I'm looking for. I have to decide what levels I'm going to make them, because usually you want your pickup to be at, if I remember right, I wanted my pickups to be in the level 80s, and I don't remember how well I did that in the previous generation, but that's, I guess, what one of the things I can kind of work on, so that if I do need Ethers, maybe I can get them that way, maybe I get them Festival Plaza. I think there's a couple other methods, but I'm playing with it, I'm figuring it out, and kind of getting lost in thought. But it's been fun. It's been fun catching Pokemon again. This means I'm finally catching the Island Scan Pokemon. In fact, I haven't done it for tonight yet, and I'll probably do that after this. Oh my gosh, I've been talking for a long time, haven't I? I probably shouldn't hold y'all here any longer, so y'all have a nice week.